Hi there, welcome back on the channel, or welcome if you haven't seen any other videos from the channel. My name is Maurice and today we are reviewing another French car. I say another because I already did a review on Renault, so now we are reviewing a Peugeot. It's the 508 model from 2012 and it's done, wait for it, almost 310,000 kilometers until now. So we are reviewing the Peugeot 508, but it's not any model from this range, it's the hybrid. And also it's quite an interesting hybrid because it does have a diesel engine coupled with an electric motor. Pretty interesting because you otherwise wouldn't think of a diesel hybrid, especially as hybrids are supposed to work inside the city. So it's a bit peculiar, but on the other hand, if Mercedes still does hybrids with diesel engines, maybe they're onto something. So what's the configuration of the car? It does have a 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel engine with something of an automatic manual gearbox with 6 gears, something like that. It doesn't have a torque converter, it just have a single clutch. And also it drives only the front wheels. As I said, the diesel engine. The electric motor, on the other hand, is not inside the gearbox like you would typically expect from a hybrid. It's actually on the rear part of the car, and it drives the rear wheels. So yeah, in electric mode, you could actually use this car with rear wheel drive. Other than that, it does have a mode for 4-wheel drive, which uses the electric motor and the diesel engine, so all the wheels are driven. And also the specs are quite interesting because the diesel engine develops 163 horsepower and about 300 Newton meters. But get that, get this, the electric motor develops only 37 horsepower, but a whopping 150 Newton meters, half of the torque figure of the diesel engine. That's interesting. And also, because you do get them on different sides of the car, actually the power outputs can be combined to get a total system output of 200 horsepower and 450 Newton meters. Other than that, some other specs. The top speed is limited to 210. The sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour happens in about 8.5 seconds, something like that. And another interesting fact is the weight of the car. Even though it's a diesel and a hybrid, it weighs 1.7 tons, which I think is not bad after all. So yeah, those are the spec sheets. Not really interesting, but I presume the consumptions are supposed to be. Again, I'm not buying the spec sheet. It's supposed to do something like 3.5 liters for every 100 kilometers in average, but as you will see actually inside the car, the average of this model is at around 7 liters. And in terms of luggage space, we can use this control to open the luggage compartment, and as you can see, it is quite plentiful actually. Our carry-on luggage looks a bit petite in here. I think you can squeeze about 7 carry-on luggages like this one, but after all, the opening itself, it's a bit shallow, I think, from here to here to here, and that's because we do get the hybrid battery in there and another small cubby. And other than that, you don't get really too much in here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and also, I'm not a fan of this bumper ledge here, some sort of used space, and if you're trying to reach something way in the back, you're gonna cover your trousers with some dirt from the back bumper. Let's check out the rear bench. Firstly, as usual, I'm gonna review the door card to say so. We do have some sort of a soft material up here, but obviously it's even softer on the armrest. You do have some decor elements here and there, and some piano black on the door handle itself, which didn't stood the test of time so well, but anyway. Then you have a small pocket in here and some speakers as well. On the back of the front chair we have some netting, a central armrest for the rear bench, some light fixtures, some sunshades on the back windows and also on the rear window, and something quite interesting for this class of vehicle, we have climate control, and actually it's on 4 ways for 4 passengers. Even the outer seats, outer 2 passengers of the rear seats can set their own ventilation and temperature. So pretty interesting, yeah. This is the space back here. As you can see, I have plenty of space for my knees. Well, yeah, the front chair is in line with the B-pillar. It could be a bit to the back of the car, but even so, it's all right. I'm pretty sure that you'll find yourself comfortable even if the front seat is more towards the back. And also for your head, there's enough room, more than a palm of space. You have armrest, a central armrest as well. So all in all, yeah, it's pretty nice back here. Also, I think you could actually use the center seat on the rear bench, because the central console is not that massive. It does have some space underneath it, and also the transmission tunnel is almost non-existent. So yeah, pretty nice. Now let's see the front passenger side. I do feel like the door should open more than this, but anyway, the door card, it's pretty similar with the one in the back. The materials up here are a bit softer, but other than that, we have the same decor, the same material on the armrest, speakers, and a pocket in here. The seat itself, it does have quite a lot of adjustment. It is electrical, so you could push the whole chair or just the front part, and also you have a lumbar support on 4 ways. And something to consider, the material here, because you're probably gonna use the controls quite often. So it's nice that they use textile and not leather. It stood up the test of time better. Now let's check out the space itself. The door sounding, the door closing sound is not brilliant, but good enough. After all, it's not a premium manufacturer, this one, so yeah, we do have about a palm of space for my knees, and also quite a soft-ish material on the dashboard, similar with the door card in the back. But that means that I can rest my knee on it without a problem. And also the glove box, it's quite large and it's covered on all sides with felt. A small complaint, but maybe I do have the seat way too in front of the car. My knees are a bit higher than I would otherwise like, but again, maybe if I push it towards the back of the car, it will be better. And at last, let's check out the driver's side. On the door card, obviously it's pretty similar with the one on the right side of the car, with an additional control for electric windows and electric outside mirrors. And also the chair, it's pretty similar. No, actually it's identical. We do have the same controls. And now a reminder that's some sort of a Porsche. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. But you do have the start-stop engine button on the left side of the steering wheel, like you do in Porsches. We also get here the parking brake, the trunk opening, and the fuel lid. Oh, and an additional cubby in here, right? No, it's a French car. Come on. It does have some quirks. There's a place for your key, the controls of the head-up display, and also some additional buttons here for deactivation of the eco mode, parking sensors, and also the stability control program, which is weird. If you are getting annoyed by the parking sensor, you have to open this one. Mind your knee, because as you can see, it's quite sharp, and also the space is not plentiful. And after you open this one, you have to search for this button, which is a bit awkward. But as I said, it's a French car. It has to have some quirks. Now, in terms of the POV of the driver, this is pretty much it. The steering wheel, it's a bit thin and a bit large in the center, but at least we have physical controls. Quite lots of them, actually. You do get to control the cruise control from these controls from the down below. On the right side, you control a bit of the infotainment screen, and on the left side, the small information display from the gauge cluster, and also the volume. And that's, for me at least, it's a downside, because I would rather have this kind of control. I'm not really sure how to call it, rather than two physical buttons for volume up and down. You do have to push them quite a lot to adjust the volume. Anyway, let's start the car. Okay, we have some stocks on either side for lights and wipers, and also some controls for the flappy paddle gearbox. They're fixed to the column of the steering wheel, but they are quite large, so all in all, they're all right. Probably you're not gonna use them all that often, so anyway, the gauge cluster, it's quite typical analog with a power meter on the left side rather than a RPM range. But the interesting thing is above. You do get a needle for the temperature of the coolant of the diesel engine, and also for the temperature of the oil. That's nice. Always nice to see. And the small info display you can use for some trip data or something like that. It doesn't have all that much setting in it. But as you can see, that's the consumption of the car. It's an average in city and outside the city, and I think it's pretty alright. I forgot to show you the head-up display, which is not on the windshield and a bit pointless in my opinion, but it's there. Alright, no, and also doesn't flicker in real life. Other than that, we have some light fixtures on the ceiling, a dimmable mirror. Lower back we have the infotainment screen, which it does show you the power management of the hybrid system and the battery charge. Then we have the hazard lights, the locking and unlocking of the doors from the inside, and something pretty interesting, the cup holders. Yeah, they remind me of some cars from back in the day. The only downside, I think, it has to be the fact that the cup holders are on top of some electronics. So if you spill something, yeah, I don't know. Then we'll get to see the controls for the multimedia, which is powered by JBL on this model, and the climate unit, again with physical buttons. Yay! Then we have a cubby with a lighter and what's, I presume it's a place for your ash, if you're still doing that. Then the gear selector, which doesn't have a park button or a park function, being a manual, an automated manual, something like that. The driving modes that helps you choose between auto, sport, four-wheel drive and full electric mode. Then the controls of the infotainment screen, the SOS button, the service call, the auto function of the headlights, and the auto parking function. Then you get the heated seats on 3 steps, yeah, and a central armrest which opens sideways, and it does have a small cubby with an additional 12-volt outlet and a USB port in here. But rather than having all this piano black, which didn't age very well, I would prefer some other material and also some other configuration, because as you can see, there's no place for your phone or for, I don't know, some additional storage space. It's a bit weird. Welcome to the driving part of the review with the Peugeot 508. As you probably saw, we are back on the usual testing ground for my reviews, and actually I drove the car for a moment to get my first impressions for you, to get them ready. So I'll start with the suspension, because I don't really have much experience with French cars and with Peugeot models as well, and I was expecting it to be more comfortable than it really is. Maybe it's not in its benefit the fact that almost a 1.7 ton vehicle, and the fact that it's running on 18 inches, the rims are 18 inches, But even so, it's a medium-sized vehicle. Even though it's not from a premium manufacturer, I was expecting it to be a bit more comfortable than it's actually in reality. Comparing it with some other models from this year and from this class of vehicles, is not really close to the VW Passat, but it's actually pretty similar with the Insignia from Opel. So yeah. Also, the noise levels are a bit higher than I would otherwise expect them to be. Especially from the outside mirrors, the wind noise is quite loud inside the cabin, which is odd because it's not an SUV. It's not actually a big car by any means. So yeah. Other than that, the steering is quite light, a bit vague, but on par with some other competitors. The controls are easy to use, the brakes are easy to modulate, which is interesting because it does regen in the first part of depressing the brake pedal. But it really blends in the hydraulic brake without you noticing. The engine actually, again, it's quite a reliable engine, and also quite a quiet engine for a 2-liter diesel engine with 4 cylinders. But after all, the French manufacturers are renowned for diesel engines, or used to be, because nowadays they're not really manufacturing a lot of them. So for the most part, I guess it's a comfortable car. The hybrid system seems to work quite flawlessly, even though it's coupled with a diesel engine. And for the most part, I enjoyed driving the thing. And I say for the most part because you really don't have to be in a rush. The gearbox being basically a manual gearbox that's just operated by some computers. It does have a single clutch, and if you're using the car in sport mode, or if you're driving a bit sporty, you're gonna feel the gear changes. It's gonna do them with some pause in between gears, so it's not really pleasant. But using the car at city speeds, even at higher speeds, but in a more comfortable, sedated way, it manages to blend the gears similar to an old automatic with a torque converter. And also the fact that the engine stops quite often, and it drives on electric power alone, again makes the ride quite comfortable. And I'm gonna switch things up for a bit, because I realized that after enabling the noise cancelling function on the microphone, you weren't really able to hear the noises between 90 to 110 and 130 kilometers per hour. So I'll just do a sprint entering back on the highway, and I'll let you hear the noise inside the cabin, but that's gonna be pretty much it from now on. And as usual, we are gonna talk about the maintenance, not really the problems, because this particular model was offered by Inspector Auto. That's a company here in Romania that sells used cars, and I didn't really get the chance to talk with the owner to see the problems of this vehicle. But considering it's done almost 310,000 kilometers and it's running flawlessly right now, I mean, that says something. Even though a lot of people are scared about used vehicles and electric powertrains or hybrid powertrains, it seems that if you do proper maintenance, there's nothing to worry about. Let's get back on the highway, and actually I'm gonna switch the car to sport mode. And I'm gonna shut up for a moment to let you hear the sprint from 50 kilometers per hour to 130. That was it. Now I'm gonna maintain 130 for a moment. So the noise levels, as I said, they're pretty high inside the cabin, mostly from the wind. The outside windows are not acoustic, so yeah, it does let a lot of noise inside the cabin. The good thing, on the other hand, is the fact that you don't really hear the tires or the engine. It's actually, as I said, a quiet engine for a 2-liter diesel. Except when obviously you're accelerating using the kick down function of the gearbox. So yeah, but at constant speed, it's alright. The noise levels are alright. And with that in mind, I'm gonna do again a bit different things in the driving part of the review. I'll state some of the things that I'm enjoying about the car and some of them that are not really for my liking. The first thing that I do enjoy actually it's the hybrid system, which seems to work seamlessly, so no hiccups. I can barely feel the engine stopping and starting, and that's even more impressive considering that's a diesel engine. I also find pretty nice the fact that you have the start-stop button on the left side of the steering wheel, which resembles Porsche's. A small gimmick, but anyway. And for the things that I'm not necessarily a fan of, I will be mentioning again the hybrid system, because I'm not really sure that it works on a 2-liter diesel engine, considering that the car is actually pretty heavy for only 200 horsepower. I mean, yeah, the electric motors, the electric motor feels the pauses of the diesel engine while accelerating, but for the most part, it's not an ideal system, and also the gearbox doesn't help. If you're trying to be a bit sporty behind the steering wheel, no, it's gonna drive you crazy. You have to get used to it, to take your foot off the accelerator pedal while it changes gears, so you don't jerk the whole car. And even using the flappy pedals from behind the steering wheel, you don't really get much feedback from the whole system. So yeah. The other fact that I'm not really enjoying, as I said in the static review, the fact that on the central car console there's no room for your phone, for, I don't know, for your keys or something like that. There's no cubby space, and probably that's something that I wasn't a fan on my former car as well, the A7. I got used to store my phone in the cup holders. Not ideal, as you can probably imagine. So here you don't even get to do that. Because the cup holders are rising from the dashboard. They're not filled, so well, that could be another plus, because I enjoy the mechanism from the cup holders. But all in all, as I said, the storage space here in front of the car, not great. And lastly, I'm not a fan of the luggage space. The distance between the real usable space for your luggages and the end of the car, the rear bumper, it's quite hefty, and obviously being the back of the car is gonna get dirty quite easily, and you'll most likely ruin your pants if you're trying to reach something from the back of the trunk compartment. Anyway, lastly, I'm gonna talk about the maintenance of the car and the driving part of the review. Being a diesel engine, even though it's a hybrid, or especially because it's a hybrid, actually, you should really do some maintenance at about 10,000 kilometers tops. If you're using the car inside the city, or mostly inside the city, and I'm pretty sure that you will, because you were looking for a hybrid, I would lower that interval to about 7,500 RPMs. Jesus, 7,500 kilometers. $8,000 tops. I don't know what happened there. Someone broke down, I guess. Anyway, yeah, I was saying lower the interval to around 7,500, maybe 8,000 kilometers between oil changes. After all, it's worth it. You don't really need to do any other maintenance. As I said, the gearbox, basically, it's manual gearbox, so doesn't really require a lot of attention or regular maintenance for that matter. And the brakes, the tires, the suspension might require some attention from time to time, but it's not gonna be excessive. That's why I said the main aspect is the engine oil change. Also, the hybrid system seems to be quite reliable. Maybe you could check it from time to time, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, all in all, I don't really see this like a vehicle that I would like to own. It's not really for me, but I do appreciate the different manner of doing things, especially with this hybrid model. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider liking the video and also subscribing to the channel, because it really helps me. And also you could help me by leaving your impressions in the comment section or on social media. Until next time, thank you for watching.